You remember the energy, the bald head, the hoodie up with the voice like gravel. Fredro Starr was chaos on a beat, but few saw what was coming next. The cameras, the scripts, the stage lights. The Queen's Raised Artist Hollywood crossover was unexpected but iconic, and it kicked down the door so other rappers could get a shot on the big screen.
Gone from the rap music to just acting on sitcoms, acting in movies.
Try to make the people in the streets happy, that's all.
With a fierce East Coast spirit and a legacy cemented in hip-hop and Hollywood, Fredro's journey has always been about fire, passion, and evolution.
Everybody wants to be on TV when you're a little kid, but you never think it can happen. But I just want to work hard and just do good films that mean a lot.
After making a thunderous acting debut in the HBO drama Strapped, catching the attention of the industry heavyweights, he would go on to appear in over 55 films and television shows, proving he could channel that same explosive energy into compelling performances. This is the story of Fredro Starr's unexpected Hollywood transition. Born Fred Lee Scruggs Jr., Fredro grew up in the gritty neighborhoods of South Jamaica, Queens. After being born in Brooklyn, it was the kind of environment where toughness wasn't a choice, it was survival. Raised in a working class family with limited means, Fredro was surrounded by the raw energy of New York's underground culture. Inspired by films like Beat Street and Crush Groove, Fredro began breakdancing and rapping as a youth, forming the group Onyx in 1988 at just 17. He was discovered by the late hip-hop star Jam Master Jay of Run DMC, who signed Onyx on his label JMJ Records. Fredro helped usher in a new wave of gritty, aggressive East Coast hip-hop in the 1990s, alongside his blood cousin and lifelong collaborator, Sticky Fingers. Their explosive debut album Back the Fuck Up and his breakout hit Slam turned the group into legends, raw, loud, and unapologetically street. But Fredro Starr wasn't stopping at music. Behind the gritty teeth and the growling rhymes was an artist with more to say, with a movie script in his back pocket. As Onyx was on the rise in the early 90s, Fredro Starr quickly became more than just a rapper with an aggressive mic presence. His first real breakthrough as an actor came in 1993 with the gritty movie Strapped, directed by Forest Whitaker. Fredro stumbled into acting by accident after dropping by an open audition on a whim. When he was chosen for Strapped, he was not yet known as a rapper. Onyx's first album was still in production and not even halfway done. He was chosen because the filmmakers liked his acting, not due to his musical celebrity.
So I meet Bokeem that day, and then we start doing lines together. And from that day, Forest Whitaker was like, yo, if I give you this part, will you take it seriously? And I was like, yeah. And then I got the part to do the movie called Strap.
Fredro gave a fully formed performance that felt raw, urgent, and believable, catching the attention of industry heavyweights. Hollywood had seen rappers act before, but Fredro brought something different. He didn't just play street, he was the real deal. And he had the emotional depth to back it up. His performance sparked attention from producers and directors looking for someone who could bring authenticity to roles that reflected the urban experience. What followed was a string of appearances in films that didn't shy away from the realities of the inner city life. Clockers, Sunset Park, Ride, and Light It Up. All gritty snapshots of young black men navigating environments like the Onyx member had grown up in. With each role, Fredro stepped into a new identity, a true performer who could carry weight on the screen. His acting felt lived in, intense, and unpredictable. The same qualities that made him electrifying on the stage were now lighting up the screen. A pivotal piece of advice came from Forest Whitaker, the director of Strapped, who told him that movies are forever. This resonated deeply with the Queens youngster, motivating him to give his absolute best in every take and scene, understanding that his performance would be immortalized.
You gotta go out there and be like, yo, I'm gonna kill every scene, you know what I'm saying? You gotta study your lines and you gotta it's hard work, you know what I'm saying? It's not easy. It may look easy, but it's not.
Fredro will go on to appear in over 55 films and TV shows, proving he could channel the same explosive energy into compelling performances on screen. Dro's transition from gritty street film to mainstream television came with his role as Quentin Q. Brooks on Moesha in 1996. Starring opposite Brandy, Fredro surprised fans by showing a softer, more romantic side. Known for his aggressive rap persona, he brought an unexpected depth to the character, balancing toughness with charm. The role made him a household name and introduced him to a whole new audience. Moesha cemented Fredro as more than just a rapper turned actor. He was now a primetime staple, proving his range and versatility with every episode.
I was being me from Southside Jamaica, Queens, on this TV show. Like, how did this even happen, son? Like, you was on One Thirsty First, chilling with niggas a couple of years ago. Now you on Moesha.
Fredro Starr's role in the 2001 movie Save the Last Dance marked as a pivotal moment in his acting career. Playing Malachi, a troubled teen navigating inner-city Chicago, Fredro delivered a masterful performance, grossing $131 million worldwide. The movie instantly became a cult classic, exploring themes of race and class that are still relevant today. Fredro also appeared on the movie's multi-platinum selling soundtrack, teaming up with Jill Scott on the soulful track Shining Through. The song became one of the standout pieces on the album, blending Fredro's raw voice with Jill Scott's emotional delivery. It was one of the rare moments in pop culture where a hardcore rapper seamlessly stepped into a softer, more reflective space, and it worked. Save the Last Dance wasn't just another credit on Fredro's filmography. It was a career-defining pivot that proved he could shine far beyond the expectations placed on him. Fredro's entry into Hollywood didn't just elevate his own career, it challenged an entire industry's perception on what rappers were capable of. Before him, most hip-hop artists cast in films were either regulated to roles as thugs, criminals, or comic relief, often playing exaggerated versions of street stereotypes. But Fredro, with his raw energy and believable emotion, brought depth to every role he touched. From Strapped to Clockers to Moesha, he proved that rappers could be more than one-dimensional. They could carry storylines, show emotional range, and connect with mainstream audiences beyond the mic. Fredro's transition showed casting directors and producers that rappers could bring authenticity and charisma to both dramatic and comedic roles. This shift helped pave the way for a new generation of rappers to become actors. Soon after, DMX, inspired by the same gritty realism, made a powerful impact in films like Belly and Romeo Must Die. Method Man followed with roles in Belly and 187, blending street credibility with acting, and eventually artists like 50 Cent, Common, T.I., and Ludacris would all walk through the door that Fredro helped crack open, proving that hip-hop wasn't just a genre, but a talent pool of multifaceted artists. Fredro Starr didn't just break typecasting, he shattered it. He showed that the same fire that fueled the verse could fuel a scene. The street wisdom could translate into emotional intelligence on screen, and in doing so, he laid the foundation for hip-hop to be seen not just as a soundtrack to a film, but as the centerpiece of the film itself. Throughout his career, Fredro Starr never shied away from confronting the box that Hollywood and hip-hop alike tried to put him in. In interviews, he often speaks candidly about being underestimated, how people expect him to play one note, the street dude, but Fredro always saw himself as something more complex. He talked about his love for poetry, his passion for storytelling, and the emotional depth he brought to his roles. things that didn't always align with the tough exterior people associated with him. He challenged the assumption that vulnerability didn't belong in hip-hop, or that a rapper couldn't bring a nuance to the screen. In one interview, he even described himself as a student of life, saying that he'd rather evolve than be frozen in the image of who people thought he was. Rather, it was playing the romantic lead on Moesha or writing reflective verses on soundtracks. Fredro constantly proved that he was more than the label of hardcore rapper. He was an artist, plain and simple, and he demanded to be seen as one.
I feel like the industry kind of like, had enough. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm coming back and direct my own movie.
As his acting opportunities slowed down, Fredro Starr transitioned into directing. He is currently directing his own TV series called The Tunnel, which is loosely based on the famous New York nightclub of the late 1990s and early 2000s. He views this as following in Forest Whitaker's footsteps and uses his extensive experience from being on the other side of the camera to inform his directorial vision. He chose to direct and finance it himself to maintain creative control and to avoid waiting for external approval. Now in his 50s, Fredro Starr is more than a rapper, more than an actor. He's a survivor, a transformer, and a New Yorker who never stopped evolving. The work he put in during the 90s and early 2000s transformed him into a cultural icon. Fredro's versatility opened the door for other artists to cross over to acting. And his contribution to the culture goes beyond music. Until this day, he stays putting in work with the same flair that he entered his first movie scene with. Whether in a mosh pit or on a movie set, Fredro Starr continues to shine through.